They say that our bodies are comfortable between about 18 and 28 degrees, so think of your house as being a refuge that you can keep within that temperature using the minimum amount of energy. So there's 4 principles that we use to do that. There's orientation, which is where your house sits in relation to the moving sun, and then insulation, which is a substance that stops heat moving from one area to another. So if you have hot air and cold air with nothing between them, it'll all mush together and you end up with just a middle range temperature. If you put insulation, it keeps them separate. Then there's ventilation, which is keeping fresh air moving through your house and at the same time extracting excess heat from your house. And finally, thermal mass. And thermal mass is like a bank of temperature. It maintains a more constant temperature either by absorbing or irradiating heat. So in this video, we're going to look at how you can keep your house warm in winter using a minimum amount of energy, some tips and tricks.
Hey Tim, I've got my Ugg boots on, a little blanket here, my sweater, but I'm still a bit cold. Can you put the heater on?
Try a beanie.
Oh, I suppose it is better to heat yourself than it is to heat the room.
Yeah, and you know how it is. Different people feel the heat different ways.
Thanks.
Tell you what, if you're still cold, what about this little electric throw?
Oh, that looks snug.
I tell you what though, I don't know how much energy it used. Let's check with the PowerMate. Yeah, so according to this PowerMate, the electric throw is only using 0.04 of a kilowatt per hour.
Gee, that's not much.
No, it's great. Compared to the heater, which luckily I have plugged into this other PowerMate.
Is that new heater that we just bought, the energy efficient one?
Even though it's the energy efficient one, it's using a kilowatt per hour. No wonder that like the average household heating and cooling use is 25% of your overall power use.
Not surprising when you look at that, is it?
Yeah, I know. Heating uses heaps of energy.
Hey, those PowerMates look pretty good. Can I use them for other appliances or just heating stuff?
That's a great idea. You can use them on anything.
So I might check the fridge and my laptop on standby and a few other little bits and pieces. I suppose it's anything that we can plug in.
Anything you can plug in.
Okay, we're going to talk about window treatments now because windows are a place where houses lose and gain heat. And so it's really important that you try and insulate them if you possibly can. So I'm going to talk to you now about a really good way to insulate your windows, and that's using double-lined pelmeted curtains. So you see my curtains go right down to the floor and they go right up to the top of the window, and you'll see there a pelmet. And what that pelmet does is it stops the air flowing out of the top. So I've got a block at the top and a block at the bottom, which means between the glass and the window, I have a pocket of air. And that pocket of air is insulation that's going to stop the heat from flowing one side to the other. So what I do is on a hot summer's day, I get up in the morning, I shut my curtains. Once it's cooled down at night, I can open all my windows up, open my curtains, and let that cool air blow through. In winter time, I do the opposite. During the day, I open them up, let the sun in, and then at night time, I close them up, and that's keeping that nice hot air that I've trapped inside. Because remember, we want the sun to come into our houses in winter, and we want to stop it coming in summer. So we all know on a cold, windy day in winter where the drafts are after coming from in our house. And so we're going to show you how easy it is to actually draft proof this window here. You can get various thicknesses for different types of gaps. Any sort of good hardware store will be able to sell you these. And then it's really simple. It comes in a little run like this. Nice fluffy bit here, nice sticky bit on this side. Tim, if you hold it up, we've made sure that our window's nice and clean.
Right up to the top.
So we're not pressing dust, pressing it all the way down. Then I can cut it to the right spot. And then we're going to slowly
peel the backing off and press it in place so that when the window shuts, it'll shut against that foam bit and it'll seal it.
No more cold drafts coming through our window. Such a simple and easy thing to do, but definitely saving you energy and money.
There we go. Beautiful.
So this is actually something really simple. You're lying on your couch, you're feeling this draft coming on the floor, and you realise that there's a hole underneath your laundry door. So what you can do is get one of these magic little door snakes, simply stick it over that hole, and you'll be toasty warm.
So in winter, the sun comes up more to the south, and so it hardly hits on that eastern wall at all, which means there's no real advantage in having a big window there. But the sun in winter sits at about 35 degrees, and what that means is if we've got that big eave hanging over, the sun isn't going to be able to get in and heat up the house. Just take that roof away for a tick.
This is what you have to do. You just have to move your roof line back and forth, summer and winter.
So when the sun's at 35 degrees, in the middle of the day, it not only heats up the floor, but it might even go right through and heat up the wall on the other side. So it's going to heat the whole house. And that's why we've got these big windows on the north. And then in the afternoon, the sun goes down and disappears over here fairly quickly. And again, it doesn't really hit the west wall, so there's not much advantage in having a big window on the west. So what can you do? You can either have a big eave, that's great in winter, or a little one that's great in summer.
Surely there's a compromise.
That's a good point. So you could have a halfway overhanging eave.
How long should it be?
It should be 40% of the height of the glass.
So 40% of this.
Yep.
Cool.
Or we could do a really good trick. Are you ready?
We could do a good trick. Okay, here we go. This is a magic thing called a solar pergola. Tell us what it is, Tim.
Well, what it is a bunch of slats set at 35 degrees, which remember is the angle of the sun in winter. So when we have the sun at 35 degrees, the sun goes straight through the slats and heats up the inside of the house.
That's amazing.
Look at that. Okay, and then in summer, when the sun's at 82 degrees, it makes no sun at all. So not only does it stop the sun coming on the house and the roof and the wall, but also it stops the ground heating up at the front.
Can you show us that again?
Sure. So here we go.
That's winter.
That's winter. And that's summer.
I think that's amazing.
It is. Not only that, but how's this? Spring, halfway. Autumn, halfway.
Man, solar pergolas, they're the way to go.
But what happens if you don't want to have to build all that infrastructure? What could you use instead?
I don't know. I think we might have something out here.
Ta-da! You can use a deciduous vine.
Okay, so thanks for watching our How to Keep Your House Warm in Winter series. It was really fantastic to share with you. Just thinking back over some of the things we covered, keeping yourself warm before you worry about warming the air, letting that sun in. We've even in winter got such an amazing resource there to let it in and warm our homes. Lots of ways of insulating inside so we create a really lovable and enjoyable living space, keeping it cozy, saving ourselves money, and saving energy at the same time.
And don't forget, cuddle up.
Cuddle up.